Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Sunday, November 3rd, 2024. And geez, it's a bloody warm one today. I thought I'd be smart and I thought I'd still put my jacket on here, but have my short sleeves on. But I tell you what, I'm actually absolutely cooking under this. It's very, very warm. So just a short one today. Neil's actually struggling a little bit today, so just a short one and we'll keep it in the shade. But in case you didn't know, if you've just woken up or watching this a little bit later, we have a new world champion here in Australia. And you're probably thinking, hey, I didn't see anything about an Australian being in a world title fight. Well, it is a junior world amateur champion, Cooper McConnell. Now, I still call him Cooper O'Connell because his mum's Shannon O'Connell. His dad's maiden, he's not his maiden name. You don't have maiden names as a male, of course, but his dad's name's McConnell, Shannon's O'Connell, so it's a little bit confusing, but we'll just call him Cooper for now. But he has won the World Junior Under-19 Championships in Colorado, USA. So massive congratulations to Cooper. He beat his Kazakh opponent by split decision. Really tough fight. Geez, he boxed so well, and he's had a pretty tough draw through it all. I think this was his fourth fight from memory, and just boxed really, really well. He dominated the first round. Second round, it was closer, but I still think he got the points. And even though the Kazakh opponent came home strong in the third, I thought that Cooper had done enough and won the split decision. And yeah, congratulations to him. I was a little bit disappointed in the Kazakh's corner. I understand he's just gotten beaten, but he jumped out the ring, had a bit of a hissy fit and carried on. And his corner, I don't think gave Cooper much at all, which is really not good. I mean, I suppose these countries are used to winning against countries like Australia, and maybe it was a bit of a shock to the system, but I was really disappointed in that. But all that aside, I mean, it was all about Cooper, and just a massive thing for obviously Shannon, his mum, who I messaged after the fight, who would be super proud. Knowing her, she'd be in tears and just super wrapped, and so she should be. Just an accomplishment to go over there. He hasn't, well, I was going to say he has had a few fights. I won't try and guess exactly how many, but he's had a lot. Probably not a lot compared to what they've had overseas, but for here in Australia, he's had a lot of fights, but not at a particularly high level. So just an unbelievable performance to go over there, fight opponents who have probably had a lot of other big tournaments to fight at, and yeah, all the backing and all this sort of stuff. And Cooper, I'm going to call him Cooper O'Connell. Cooper goes over there and just upsets everyone and just pulls it out of the bag. Just one of those things. And the thing is with Cooper is that he hasn't been brought up. Obviously, he's an amateur, so he's been to states and nationals and all that sort of stuff, but he hasn't been brought up in the system, the amateur system. And what I mean by that, he hasn't gone, well, I'm sure he's gone to a couple, but he hasn't gone through the whole development process and the squads and all the other stuff they get you to go through in amateurs and the development programs and whatever they do. They're all different. I haven't been part of the amateur scene for a while, but he hasn't done that. He's gone through the pro process. He trains at the boxing shop up there in Queensland alongside his mum, alongside Jack Bowen, along Terramona, just to name a few. Gareth Williams, very, very good trainer up there, and he hasn't done the whole amateur thing with the tippy tap and the arm fencing and all this sort of stuff, and just the emphasis on scoring rather than power. He's gone down the pro route, whatever you might want to call it, and has just gone in there and done his thing. And I love it, because this is the one fault I have with amateur boxing, not just in Australia, but overall. Well, particularly in Australia, actually. I will pinpoint Australia, because I think one reason we probably haven't been able to go to that next level is because while we're still doing the pity pat thing, and this has been the amateur thing for a long, long time, because it's all been about scoring points. That's been the emphasis, scoring points, and that is it. The scoring process changed so that it was more based on the pro scoring now. So they're looking at power punches, they're looking at controlling the ring, they're looking at all these different things. So they score it like pros. And this is the reason why I think we haven't been able to really go to that next level or get those wins, is because we have still been doing that little pity pat thing, whereas the amateurs overseas have been sitting down on their punches, really looking at the quality of punches rather than quantity, all these sorts of things. And I think that's why maybe we've been left behind still and haven't been able to crack that elusive gold medal at Olympics and all this sort of stuff. A little bit different at Commonwealth level because we're fighting countries similar to ours. So, but Cooper, has been through the pro process. As I said, sitting down on his punches, trying to hurt opponents rather than just outbox them. And I think it's great because I'm not quite sure what the amateur probably coaches would be thinking at the moment, thinking, geez, we've got all these numbers and colours and diagrams and all this sort of stuff. Hasn't really been able to get the desired effect. And you've got a kid over there who hasn't been through that process, who just goes to a gym, trains hard, and goes in there and tries to punch on, and he's got the gold medal. So, but back in my day, it was Robbie Peden, Justin Crawford, Rick Temperi. These were the guys, and none of them were able to get gold medals. Hello. But they're all obviously at the top end of the amateur scene, but none of them could get gold medals. And before me, there was Justin Rousel, Jamie Nicholson, some really great amateur boxers who couldn't quite get. I think there might have been some bronzes in there at some of the world championships, but even if you talk to someone like Robbie Peden, he retired after they brought in the German coach Bodo Andreas, who I fought under. He retired because he didn't want to do all that pity pat stuff, and he just went in there and just tried to knuckle people. And look what he did. He won a Commonwealth Games gold medal and obviously a world champion pro. So look, I'm not. Probably seems like I'm having a crack at the amateur scene, and I suppose in some way I am, but it has to pose the question. It's probably been my biggest criticism of the amateur program for a long, long time, is that there's too much emphasis on, the arm fencing sort of stuff, and not enough with setting down your punches and not trying to outscore boxers, try and hurt the boxers. This is the way we used to fight back in the day, and I hate to say that back in the day, not really appropriate, I know, but I'm just probably trying to say that maybe the old-fashioned approach is the best approach. Train hard, get in some, train around other quality fighters, good pro fighters, and in my opinion, I've said this from day dot, they should have people like Jeff Fennick and Barry Michael and these types of guys involved, those tough, hard pros to get in there and don't worry about all this, the way they teach them with numbers and patterns, and they all teach them out of textbooks these days. Just the old-fashioned approach of just being harder, tougher, fitter, stronger, and try and knuckle these guys instead of trying to outpoint them. But that's just my 2 cents. I'm probably getting on my high horse there. But look, all that aside, it probably just comes back to just patting Cooper McConnell / O'Connell on the back and saying, mate, well done, we're proud of you. And it's interesting, I'm assuming, because Glenn Jennings manages Shannon, I'm sure that Glenn's looking at Cooper as a future fighter, which would be awesome if that was the case, and in that case No Limit would be obviously involved as well. And then the question comes whether he sticks around and goes to the Olympics in 2028. I doubt it. It'll be 22 or something there, and I think he wants to turn pro. From all accounts, from what I hear, he wants to turn pro. So maybe there's a Commonwealth Games in 26 he could stick around for. Can you get up for the Commonwealth Games anymore? It doesn't really have that prestige, does it? But that it used to have. But yeah, I've got a feeling that we might see Cooper turn pro under the tutelage of Glenn Jennings and No Limit, and obviously Gareth Williams in the corner. So again, I've gone a fair bit today, but I'm just really proud of Cooper. I've seen where he's come from, this quiet little kid to a world amateur champion. Fantastic. So good on him. Some other news today, we have the Robson Conceiceo Oshaki Foster rematch, so I'll be looking at that later. Hopefully it's on. If not, I'll just have to watch the replay later. I thought Oshaki Foster was very unlucky the last time they fought, so I think he gets a job done today. That's at I've actually been at this venue before. It's a Turning Point Casino in where is it? It's upstate New York, because I went there. I was at the International Boxing Hall of Fame a couple of years ago in Conceiceo, and they always have a boxing fight night with the event. And I went there and watched a really good night of fight. So yeah, good venue, good location. The casino's awesome. So as I said, I'll be sitting down to watch that today, hopefully, if it's on. And as I said, I think I'll be going for a Sharky Foster in that one. And look, I probably shouldn't be talking about this too much, but we have to address it. We're less than 2 weeks away from Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, and I swore I wouldn't talk about this anymore, but just a couple of things have come up that I just probably wanted to just quickly address. I don't really want to talk too much about the fight, although the event itself will be great. Of course, we've got Dana Coolwell on the undercard. Really looking forward to Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor too. That's the reason I'm tuning in. I think that's going to be a great fight. And of course, as I said, Dana. The main event, I think it's more like a circus act, so we'll watch it just out of fascination to see what's going to happen. But the rules have been released, and it all looks pretty much above board. 8 2-minute rounds, okay, in a pro fight. Although I don't necessarily remember in a sanctioned pro fight seeing men fight 2-minute rounds. I know you can negotiate the amount of rounds you're going to do. That's fine. In 8 rounds, nothing wrong with that. But 2-minute rounds, I've just never seen males sanctioned for 2-minute rounds. That's probably the first one. The other one's good. Apparently there's knockouts allowed. Well, geez, could blow me down with a feather. We've got an officially sanctioned fight and they're allowed to knock each other out. Okay, well that's all right, we'll tick that one off. The other one was no headgear. Well, again, in an officially sanctioned fight, you're going to allow them to not wear headgear. All right, but then the other one that was probably the main eyebrow raiser for me was 14-ounce gloves. Now, wouldn't that constitute an exhibition if you got those big gloves on? If you don't know, by the way, they wear 10 ounces in the pros. 8 ounces under 147, I think it is, so welterweight, and 10 ounce above that. Might be, no, I think it's definitely 10 ounces. I'm going to say it could be 12 ounces for the heavyweights, but I'm pretty sure it's still 10. But they're wearing 14 ounces. So, yeah, I don't know, 8 2-minute rounds, 14-ounce gloves, still points to me towards exhibition, and they've probably just got around that by saying that you are allowed to knock your opponent out. So, anyway, I suppose in an exhibition you can still knock your opponent out. It just won't be looked upon favourably, will it? So, and actually the other thing I did see as well, there is if you've got the money, that is, there are a corporate package, $2 million it's worth. And I think there's 6 people, 4 that sit, I think, in the front row, 2 that are actually on the ring apron. So you can sit on the ring apron. I think you go into the rooms before the fight, and I think you get autographed gloves and you get up on the stage for the weigh and all this sort of crap. But $2 million for that package. So it's interesting. I don't know how they're going to work it, because having promoted fights, I have had people sit on the ring apron before. No doubt it can happen. It's up to the board, as long as there's seats there and you stay quiet and you don't do anything. But if you'd think they'd be having food and drink and all this sort of stuff if they're paying $2 million for it, wouldn't you? But yeah, so anyway, some strange things happening there. And one thing they are good at that promotional firm is at VIP Promotions, whatever it is, and whoever else is involved, they're going to milk every little bit out of this fight. I'm still worried about the fight. That's all I'm going to say. I'm still really worried that Mike Tyson's just going to turn up but not turn up, if that makes sense. I just think it's a glorified WWE match. The fact that it's on Netflix, I suppose the irony of that shouldn't be discarded, in that it's almost a docu-series, with the end result being Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. But yeah, as I said, I'll watch it. Of course I will. It's on Netflix, but again, I'll be mainly for that undercard. So I'm sure they'll make a heap of money. It might be the first of many. Netflix, it's the fact that they're dipping their toe in the waters for this type of event goes to show that they're looking to diversify their business. They've got docu-series they're doing a lot of at the moment and been very successful at it. So maybe this type of WWE type of fight build-up culminating in some sort of fight at the end or exhibition. Might be something they might look into. If they do it right though, I think it could be massive. You've got to remember, these companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars every year funding movies, documentaries, docuseries, whatever it might be, one-off specials. Why not put $100 million or something, or not 100 million, but put you know, some of those hundreds of millions of dollars into sporting events, especially ones that sell. It might not necessarily be, well, I hope it is, mainstream boxing with the big fights, but who knows? They might go down the track of these type of events where, you know, it's adds to the portfolio. Because you've got to remember, they wouldn't give a shit about the sport of boxing itself. They're looking at the attraction that boxing has, especially with their old stars. And Mike Tyson is obviously probably the main one out there. And Jake Paul's the biggest, I hate to say that, the biggest social media flog out there at the moment too. So it all adds up for this one. So yeah, but we've seen the landscape change so much over the last few years as far as how we watch and consume boxing. Maybe this is the first step in Netflix getting involved and taking it to another level. We will see. But anyway, I've spent enough time talking about that. Again, congratulations Cooper McConnell / O'Connell, and also to his mum Shannon and his trainer Gareth Williams and all the team at boxing, or the boxing shop up there in Queensland, and look forward to speaking to them when they get back. So guys, hope you have a great Sunday, and we will catch you tomorrow.